The world is going through a process like none before. After centuries of steady growth, human population is now declining. Population decline means that the number of people inhabiting the world is lower than it was some years ago, and even when this process is just starting, predictions show that indeed the human race, at least in number, is going downhill. This phenomenon is more common in developed nations like Japan and some European countries because women are having fewer children, but it compensates with immigration because people pouring in big cities also tend to have relatively big families. But here's the catch. Where are all these immigrants coming from? And what happens with the places they leave behind? Join me today and learn with me how small towns age and if there's hope for rural areas around the world. I'm Arturo Arcos, this is Envejecer, let's begin. The base for any sort of economic development is the primary sector. Agriculture, fishing, mining and forestry have provided human population with all the resources we need from oil and gas to food and water. The primary sector is fundamentally a rural affair. I mean, you literally have to be surrounded by nature to be able to take from it what you need. Industrialization, however, has made primary activities less important in the global economy of developed countries, which now rely more on manufacture and services. So, less people needed in towns to extract goods and more people needed in cities to transform those goods and make everything run smoothly has begun to affect the way populations behave. Young people in towns are migrating to the cities, leaving behind collapsing economies, lack of handforce, and an accelerated aging population. Why? Because older people, who most of the time grew up in those towns, are not as willing to live as their young counterparts. So, small towns become places where only the elderly live, which is both good and bad. Good because old people in towns tend to have a more active and healthier lifestyle with all that sun, exercise, local consumption, social involvement and fresh air and goods we in the city just don't get. And bad because as young people live and old people die, small towns suffer from lower incomes, low-skilled labor force, and lack of services and development opportunities. So will all towns die? Not necessarily, but in order to make towns competitive, they must offer attractive options for people to move in and stay in. And that includes making primary activities a priority again and taking manufacturing out of the city. If people find good job opportunities in the country, they will be more willing to move into towns, stay in the towns they grew up in, and study careers related to it. An improvement of quality of life and education will follow, as well as greater access to basic services and entertainment. Because, oh yeah, small towns are neck deep in addiction. And apparently the main cause of it is boredom, which is one of the biggest problems of the rural life. Unless, of course, you live in a reservation or an indigenous town. In that case, your bigger problem is the man. Indigenous groups tend to have a different view about progress. They are less interested in exploiting every square inch of land available and more into living harmonic lives with nature. So, of course, the places they inhabit are in constant risk of being taken away, polluted, or plainly destroyed. And yes, young indigenous people also want to leave their towns, so unless we all do something about it, the death of small towns won't only be demographic, but also cultural. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please let us know what you think and what you want us to talk about in the future. Through Envejecer, we want to make the world a better place to age in, and it's very important to have your help. So if you like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe. I am Arturo Arcos. I'll see you next week with more original content. Thank you for watching Envejecer. Until next time.